Okay, so now, till yesterday we were discussing about different types of protocols. Okay, let's keep them aside. Okay, but first of all, I told, okay, why we need the protocols. Why we need protocols? Protocols are required for the communication in an uniform way, in a standardized way. Okay, if I am talking in English, okay, if you are talking to me in some other language like Chinese or Japanese, will I be able to understand? No. So if any two entities, if they have to communicate in between, what they have to do? They have to use the uniform language, whichever it should be understood by other party. So that's why we use in between the type of communication what we use should be a protocol based communication. Okay, so either you communicate from one machine to another machine, or in between a server to sorry, in between a server to um, a web client, like your Windows machine at your home. You are entering some google.com in your browser and clicking enter. So that time what it will do, it will create a HTTP request. HTTP request. HTTP, what it is? Hypertext Transport Protocol. That is a protocol which is used for initiating a connection request with the server that please provide me this web page. Okay, please provide me this web page. So you are sending using the protocol, and whatever you have entered in the browser window, like www.google.com. Okay, that is getting turned out to be a web request. This web request, whatever it is, a HTTP request. So HTTP request, what it will do? The application, whatever it is there, say your browser, automatically converts that into some format which server can understand. So what it will do, it will put all different kinds of fields. Like example, for our get request, it will be like get, okay, get grt, get, okay. I want the home page. Home page means just it will be like this, and use HTTP 1.1 protocol like that, and you want to know the host name. Host name, how you will come to know? It does the DNS query and gets the DNS response, and using that or whatever you have given here, the first part of it is actually google.com is right. That is www.google.com is your host. Host means where the web page is actually hosted. Then you will have different other fields you'll be using. We have discussed all these things, but other header fields like what type of content you will be accepting. Okay, so for that accept, you have so many fields: accept language, accept header, accept encoding, and uh, I'll be able to accept different types of web pages like HTML. I'll be able to access, understand XML. I'll be able to understand what do you say, JSON. Okay, so you are telling the server that I can understand any of these things. Okay, if you are the server, the request whatever I requested, if you have any of these formats, okay, to display me, okay, you just send me from there. So get it from there. This request will go to the server, and server understand only in this format what you need. Okay, so it understand and sends you some response back to you in the other header field, other header format your browser can understand. Your browser can understand. What is that for? That it will be like sending, yeah, HTTP 1.1 space 200. Okay, okay. and it'll have some other fields also. We'll see it like more deeper into when the time when we get into web related aspects. But now you just remember this is called as a request and this is called as a response. So the browsers only understand this language. Remember, only understand this type of headers, all these fields, everything, whatever I'm showing it here, right? Only these formats they will understand. If you just say like only google.com something is, it doesn't understand and what to respond to it. Okay, so you should have all the fields to be. So server responds to the client's requests. Okay, when they understand. So this is called as uh, the protocol. Okay, the uniform language what they understand. Okay, now let me little get into some other aspects. Okay, before you do anything such things. Okay, like before you go for any, this my own whole intention is how the other system understands it, because you have to send a request from here, so then only they'll be able to understand in a protocol based format. Okay, so let us see different protocols that are available. See, this is the protocols that are available. Example, well-known protocols I'm talking about. Okay, you will try to send. You have installed FTP applications like FileZilla or Download Manager or some such kind of softwares you have installed. Okay, what they do to connect with the server from where the data has to be collected by you. Okay, that particular system should have this particular similar server side application to also be installed. Okay, if I install only FileZilla in my machine and if I don't install FileZilla on your machine or some server, and then if I try to connect you, okay, definitely since there is no application, I won't be able to communicate with you. So first of all, you should have some applications to be installed at the client, some applications server also to be installed at the server side. Okay, but most of the time, so FTP is the one application that is like for the client or server, both use the similar kind of same software. The only thing is when you are requesting, you will be as a FTP client. When someone is sending the data to you, they'll become FTP server. Okay, so that is actually the request and response methods, right? So this is the request. Okay, and this is the response. Okay, so how it goes, if you want to communicate, this is a client, FTP client, FTP client, and this is FTP server. Okay, will it directly go? No, as we know, first this is what a application which you have installed. It is an application. The same way you have similar sort of application is there at the server side also, which help you to do this. Okay, to send these files. It understands that. Okay, if I'll show you, um, say for example, FileZilla is a software. Okay, just software. FileZilla is a software, is a platform application consisting of FileZilla client and FileZilla server. Consisting, both will be there. Client binaries are available for Windows and everything. Let me show you the images of it. Okay, see, this is the one. Okay, so yeah, open in the new tab, image only, the new tab. That's what I wanted. I don't want anything else. Okay, here it is not there. It's not clarity. Okay, yeah, let me take this and try to open it. Yeah, let me try to open this, guys, in the new tab. Okay, okay, image in the new tab. Is it anything helpful? Okay, let it be. Okay, if you see here, there are two parts here. One is the client and another one. This says from which location you are trying to send the files. this says to which location of the server you are trying to send. So in whether you want to put it in D drive of the server or C drive of the server or E drive of the server, or in that which folder you want to put, all those things are there. But directly it won't happen. What it requires, first of all, you have to connect there. So here, if you see here clearly, okay, there is something called as host. Okay, I don't think you are able to view it. Let me try to open in another one more. Okay, try to open in the new tab. No, most of them are like that only. Okay, I want clarity. Okay. Okay, let me try at least this. Okay, see this. Okay, so first of all, you have to enter the host name in this particular system, means the IP address of the server to whom you want to connect, and whether you want to take the files or you want to send the files. Okay, you have to, the other system host you have to connect. And that doesn't mean that you can directly paste the contents, whatever you have in your machine to them, right? So you have to enter the um, username and password, and it tells the port. If you remember this, this is an application, okay, and it tells you the port because the other server on which on which port they are listening for this FTP. Okay, usually the default value for FTP is most of the times is, yeah, is 20. For what this is a 20? To send the data and receive the data. Okay, but for making the connection to the system, okay, you need one port that is called as by default port 21. Okay, connection means, boss, I want to have an establishment with you to have this connection. So, oh, no problem. Okay, you sent me the username and password. Let me check it whether it is correct or not. If it is correct, okay, so then I'll be happy to establish a connection with you. That happens using this particular pipe, that is port 21. And if you are sending the data from one machine to another machine, I'm not talking about the control in the sense whether the data, everything received by you before to that establishing the connection happens using 21, and the data will be sent using 20. Okay, so FTP uses port 20 as your what do you say, your data transmission, where using which pipe it goes through, and FTP control the pipe using which the connection establishment and the flow control, whether any data is lost, that kind of communication with the client and server will be happening. Okay, and you might have come across this SSH. Okay, the keys you put it to communicate with other systems. Okay, so for example, I have a Linux box and I want to connect to that Linux box from my home. Okay, so you need to have a secure way of communication. Okay, earlier we had something called as port 23, which is a telnet, where if you give username and password, you can directly communicate with that Linux machine. But the problem is, but the problem is, if you use, let me take this. Here is the client, and here is the server. If there is no SSH, okay, client send the connection request. If there is no SSH using telnet, earlier it was telnet. If it is a Linux machine, to connect to those terminals, first you have to send connection request using the telnet. Okay, what you'll do, you'll enter the host name where telnet connect so and so IP address. Okay, then you will enter the, it'll ask for you enter the username and password, you will enter it. Okay, and you will establish the connection, and you will be able to send all the commands to the server, like configuration changes or anything you have to do, you can do that. Okay, but what if it is going through router and the router is compromised by an attacker. Okay, and the attacker compromised means he's actually got control of that router. Okay, and he's able to view the traffic a client sends and the server sends. Telnet sends the data in text plain text, like human understandable language. Okay, human understandable language only, but it is like whatever it is, like 192.168.0.10 something. If you give plain text, it will be displayed to the attacker. If he is watching this using this kind of softwares, Wireshark or something, he can see everything. Okay, so he will be able to see the logs, and I mean, like, see the content to whom you are connecting, and he will be able to see username and password also, because they are also in plain text. So he will take those credentials and he will connect which and all assets you have, right, access. So he will be able to connect within that network. So it's a dangerous thing, right? So they have understood that this telnet is not good, because now attackers have come to know that they can easily see the plain text if they compromise any router or if they compromise any asset. This is called as the person who is sitting in the middle and observing a traffic are called as man in the middle. So this type of reading the data is called as attack. So man in the middle attack, man in the middle. This is very danger for any organization. I can show you so many attacks later point of time, how I can easily see these things. Okay, so this is a man in the middle attack. Okay, so guys, so to avoid this thing, my username and password or my connection request, everything to be going through, okay, to whichever asset, using SSH protocol, which is like encrypted format, because there is a key generated here and it will be sent to the server and it will be stored over here. That whatever the key, if you are coming with the same kind of key, then only it will be allowed. If you are coming with some different key values, then it won't be allowed. Okay, so this guy won't come to know about what is the key, so he won't be able to decrypt our data. Okay, so we can avoid man in the middle of attack. So this SSH is a protocol which will be using the port 22. Okay, I'll explain this TCP and all everything. Okay, but F53 is a DNS. Okay, every time whenever I say flipkart.com, okay, flipkart.com, does the how my system will understand that there is some other server somewhere I have to go and connect, where exactly that location is? I don't know. Any system in the world, or like for our human understandable, for remembering the names, we use the domain names. But ultimately, what you need to connect over the internet network, they doesn't understand the domain names. They understand only the IP address. Okay, IP address. So how they will come to know? This is because of the DNS. Okay, this is how it happens is domain name service. Domain name service. What is the service? Was I have this domain name? Could you please provide me the IP address? I would like to go and connect to the flipkart.com and get that home page onto my screen. That is what it is doing. In the background, without knowing to you, as soon as when I click flipkart.com, okay, automatically first before the HTTP request gets generated, first what it happens, it generates the it generates the it generates the
DNS
DNS
query.
request. Yes, DNS query. So what it is, DNS query, let us see what it is. Okay, simple flow only we will understand today. Okay, we don't require anything beyond or anything. Okay, let me check. Yeah, DHCP flow now. Later we'll see it. DNS query. Okay. See, DNS query flow. That is better. Okay. Yeah. Mm, okay. Is there any easy way? Yeah. Okay. It's better than that. I'll explain it more clearly here. Okay. Let me open the new. Don't save. I don't want this. Okay. As soon as when you enter, okay, sorry, as soon as when you enter the web URL, okay, on your web page, lot of things will happen. www.google.com. Okay, so you entered this in your browser. Where in your browser you have entered. Okay, first of all, you should remember one thing. Okay, to connect with the external world. Okay, what you require, you need to have internet connection on your machine. Correct, right? This is your entire PC. This is your entire PC. This is your PC. Okay, first what you should have? You should have the internet connection. So how you will come to know whether your internet connection is working or not? You will
Will
give
ping.
something here. Yes. Okay. Ping google.com. Something. You will get some reply. Oh, it's successful. I have the internet connection. I don't have any issues. Okay. So before to that, you should be having the internet connection. So you'll check that. Now, what happened? Say, for example, you don't have internet connection. So what you'll do in your PC, network cable will be there, right? You'll go and check it whether the network cable is there or not. Okay. If it is there, whether the light is glowing there or not, means data coming and going out is there or not. Unfortunately, what happened is you didn't had the network cable connected. Okay. So where it is connected? It is connected to your router, home router. Okay. So consider this is the home router. This is the home router. Okay. Let me take this and write it as router. Okay. Now the router is connected to this. Okay. And this router is in turn connected to the external world. Okay. Say for example, this is connected to the internet itself. Okay. This is connected to the router to the internet.
ISP.
ISP, Internet Service Provider. ISP. Okay. Now, ISP can be anyone. It can be your Airtel broadband, or it can be your um, what is Act, or it can be Geo or anything. If it is mobile, it is Geo, everything. Okay. So now what happened? Okay. Now you know that your network cable was disconnected and you connected it. Okay. If I go to the network settings, okay, go to the properties where it is. Yeah, go here. Go to okay. Let me go here.
Always go
Network.
ncp.cpl.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just network. No, I just want to go network property. Okay. Identify. You can go through command prompt also, right?
Yes.
Run. Okay. Okay.
Just type ncpa.cpl.
NCPA dot
CPL.
CPA. CPL. Control panel. Network control panel. Okay. So you will open like this. Okay. And you have seen, okay, here I have my this thing, Wi-Fi router is enabled. Okay. If it is not there or anything, see my Ethernet cable is not connected. So that's why only Wi-Fi is enabled. So Ethernet is not enabled. Means my network cable is not connected, only Wi-Fi is enabled. something like that. What I'll do, I'll just show you the properties of this. Okay. And I'll show you the IPv4 settings, some settings, network settings. Here all the settings will be available. Okay. Why it is, man? Oh, this is
Next one.
IPv6, sorry.
Is,
Yeah. Okay.
that one.
So here what happened? Automatically, I have said, first of all, any system to connect to the external world or to communicate within the network, they should require IP address. Okay. What they require, the IP address. Now, my machine didn't have the IP address. Okay. My machine didn't have any IP address. IP address was nothing initially. Okay. So what I have done is I have went and if it was not there, I'll just selected obtain IP address and clicked OK. Okay. So here what happens is internally first it will check for getting the IP address. Okay, let me open this. Okay, there is a sequence of steps happens from your system to the network. What is the what it is? What are those steps? Okay, this is the steps. Just remember. First, server means here your router. Okay, you are asking your router, please, I belongs to your network. Okay, I belongs to your network. Provide me some IP address. Okay. So for example, you'll first client will send discover who is my boss, who is my boss, that kind of messages it will send like client uh, the DHCP client DHCP request and broadcasts on the network. Okay, so the request will be sent to each and every device within the network. Who is my boss? Who is my boss? If 10 devices are connected within the network, like your phone, your PC, everyone will receive it. But one person will respond. That is your router, telling
No,
that I am
here there is no IP, right? Then how would it communicate to the next hub?
not next hop. It is like broadcast address. If you want to see here, okay, okay, DHCP broadcast address. If you click like this, you will get 255,
You
255.
mean dynamic IP address will be allocated, right?
Yes, yes. First, you will be sending this IP address in the destination, and you will tell this to everyone. It will be like to your router, it will go. It will be going to whoever is listening to over the air to whatever the traffic comes to them. Okay. It can be
Uh,
your Wi-Fi if you are listening.
రాఘవ్
Yeah,
గారు
yeah.
ఇక్కడ
Go ahead.
మనం ఇప్పుడు మీ క్లయింట్ మిషన్ విత్ వైఫై తో కనెక్ట్ అయింది వితౌట్ ఐపీ అడ్రస్ కరెక్ట్ కదా?
Yes, 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 yes,
ఆ,
yes, yes.
ఇప్పుడు
Okay. No, it
ఇప్పుడు
is not yet
ఇప్పుడు ఎట్లా?
connected. It is no, no, no. It is not yet connected. If I go here, if I disconnect this, okay, right click and if I disconnect it, okay, then if I try to reconnect, if I try to reconnect, okay, for the very first time when I buy a new laptop, for the very first time when I click on the Wi-Fi, okay, and if I want to connect to any router, okay, if I select it, first it will send a DHCP request, dynamic host control request. The source IP address will be nothing, okay. Destination IP address will be 255.255.255, like that it will be broadcast address, okay. And the router has received, it will send you, okay, it will send you some sort of, okay, response. I will offer you IP address, but provided, okay, you provide me, okay, some details, okay. So then you will request the IP address. So then it will acknowledge you, okay. So discovering during the discovering time, it will some intermediate steps are there. Here it is not there, but it will be like authentication happens, okay. It will send you offer with some to provide the username and password, so you will respond to it, okay, and it will send an acknowledgement, yes, it is successful. Then you will send the request again, okay, please provide me the IP address, then it will provide the IP address. But But for now, there is no password or anything. Just remember that if it is an
అంటే
open Wi-Fi,
అంటే
say
ఇక్కడ
for, yeah, go ahead.
డిస్కవరీ ప్రాసెస్ లో డిఎస్సిపి రోల్ ప్లే చేస్తుంది అంటున్నారు కదా.
Yes. Okay. DHCP router will have some software called as DHCP server capability. What it happens is client sends a discovery request. I want to know who is my boss. Okay, I will send 255, 255.255. The server sends, okay, boss. Okay, I am your boss. If you want to let me know. Okay, then I will send, please provide me the IP. Okay, then the server responds with, okay, this is your IP address. Okay, if it is like password has to be entered, means between offer and request, the password exchange will happen. Like if I have to give right password, then only it allow me to ask for a request. Else, even if I request, it will deny it. Okay, so just uh, consider it as an open Wi-Fi. Means like there is no username or password configured. So for example, if you go to Coffee Day or if you go to a mall, directly they will get connected to those Wi-Fi routers, right? So that time you will be sending the what you'll do, you'll just see how many Wi-Fi routers are there. Then you'll just click on that. Okay, either it is connected through wire or not wired. First, discovery protocol is mandatory. Discovery means it is not anything different. Just in the destination port, you are going to put it as destination address. You'll be putting it as 255.255.255.255. Okay, so it will be broadcasted. If it is 10 systems are connected, for 10 systems it will be sent. Okay, and but the type of request what you are making, okay, is an application based request. Means this is a application. Whatever you are seeing now, this is an application. Whatever you are seeing, the request is sent from an application, network application client. Okay, so that application request is some sort of DHCP. DHCP is the application. So that application, the client is sending to get the IP address to your network. Okay, so that particular thing is required before you start anything. So somehow you got your IP address. Okay, so different parts you will get it automatically. What are all those parts? Let's see. Okay, what are all those parts? Let's see. Yeah, where is IPv4 here? Okay, few parts automatically you'll get. First is IP address you'll get, subnet mask you'll get, and the default gateway you will get it, and preferred DNS also you will be getting it. So how will I come to know what? Here nothing is showing, but I said it is automatically. Means they might have got in my configurations. IP config. Just give that. Okay, is Y CMD. Right click. Run as my administrator. Yes. IP config. Okay, now I got because administrator. Okay, if you see this through my wireless router, okay, what I've done, I've connected to 192.168.1.2. Okay, that is the IP address which my for my DHCP request. This is the one which my router has offered me, and my default gateway is 192.168.1.24. Okay, what is the default gateway? Okay, yeah, default gateway means example in a layman condition I can tell. Okay, you have a mobile. Okay, example, you have your phone, you have enabled the hotspot. Okay, your phone you have enabled a hotspot and it is connected to one more device, your friend device. Okay, and one of your friend again came, hey, today my network is not working. You asked, okay, and you have given him also the access. Okay, now two devices are connected. Okay, now who is providing the hotspot? You are providing. Okay, when they browse something, right, first the data will go to your browser. From there it will go to the internet. Okay, If he is also browsing something, for data will go to here, and from there it will go to the internet. So all of your friends are connected using the default gateway. Same thing I said yesterday, just repeating it. These people are sending the same way. The home also you have the router. Okay, all of them are connected. Even if you take any system, if you take any system within my room premises, my room has got total 4 devices as of now. I have couple of phones and one laptop, and also one what do you say Google home appliance, Google Voice is also there. Okay, so everything is actually using the same default gateway 192.168.1.4. Okay, their IP addresses might be getting changed, but subnet means the network subnetting will I'll explain you later. But remember, the subnet and the default gateway will remain the same. It will never get changed. It will never get changed. Never means from during that connection, once if you establish, okay, as long as when you have the active or there are no configuration changes happened on the router by your administrator or you yourself at your home router, or if you had have changed on your phone some default gateway settings or something like that. Okay, so the router's main head, whatever it is there, that everyone, your other 2 devices are communicating at this gateway. Gateway means to the router, all systems through where the input traffic will come in, and the traffic from different phones or devices, PCs, everything, laptops will go out, will be through this particular IP address. Okay, because
ఇక్కడ
something common.
ఇక్కడ
Yeah.
యూస్ఫుల్ ఏముంది ఇక్కడ అడ్వాంటేజ్ వాట్ ఇస్ అడ్వాంటేజ్ బిహైండ్
Okay, because if you cannot, what happens if you put 10 systems, each system one port means it is difficult, right? Okay, you have to manage this port, this port, this port, this port. Okay, what is the use of it? It's better like I have one device, okay, one default gateway. I know individually them using their IP addresses 192.168.0.1, 2, 192.168.0.3, 192.168.0.4, 192.168.0.5. If I have, okay, even though they are connected through four ports, but they are all listening at the same IP address 192.168.0.2. Okay, say 0.1 example. I'm just giving example, and these are the systems are communicating to this particular port. Then I will be easily able to know that okay, all the incoming is coming through me, all the things are going out of me. But you cannot have 10 different gateways for the same router or something like that. You can have, say, in a way that this is one default gateway and this is one default gateway. This is one entire network and this is all one entire. Big commercial routers will have like this. Okay, but there also all machines within that network are connected using the same default port. And here also all the machines within the network.
రియల్
Yeah.
టైమ్ లో కూడా the organization having only one default gateway or
One default gateway only will be there. For input, one default gateway, output, one default gateway.
only one, right? Only one, right?
Yes, input
Okay.
one, like
Yeah.
into the
Yes, yes.
network one, from
Yes, yes, yes.
externally one. If
Yes, yes.
this is an ISP, ISP means for my Bangalore, I'll keep one. Okay, and this entire thing. Okay, and for my all the customers are have to connect here. Okay,
Yeah,
they
that
might
depends
be
on
having
region.
different routers at their home. These routers might be connected to different devices at their homes. Okay, this is like different devices but they are all connected to the same default gateway. That's what I said here. Okay, if you
Okay.
do trace root, trace RT, okay, google.com. Okay, now I want to know the first default gateway. Okay, my first default gateway when I'm going through, I'll come across my router, that is default gateway 192.168. So similar way, like my home router, you will also have your own home router. Okay, and some others will have their own home routers. Their IP addresses might be the same because they are given by the same service provider. Okay, but all of them are connected to whom? ISP main router, correct, right? All those routers are connected to ISP router. Now it will give you the ISP router, that is 10 dot or 103 dot something like that. Okay, so what you have to remember here is within the network, all the traffic goes to the default gateway. From default gateway, okay, I don't want to confuse you guys. Let me clear this up mess. Okay, so the default gateway is your router's main part. Okay, and this is the part. Even though, like, if you have connected 10 machines, okay, say for example, like this also you can take, no problem. Not only in that particular thing, like this also you can take. Okay, but this every port, whatever they are connected, is the default, the same address, same IP address. That is this every port here, this port or this port or this port or this port or this port, all of them are nothing but 192.168.0, I mean like 1.254. What they are doing, they are just merging internally, all multiplexing they are doing. Multiplexing, and they're bringing one output here. Okay, this is called as 192.168.1.254. That is a gateway. Internally, that is happening. Okay, and this is your public IP. Means like to make you like to assign as soon as when I click Google, what is my IP address, right? What is my IP? Okay, so this is my IP 103.195, 103.195.3.556 something. This is my entire router, home router. Okay, and it is going and connecting to the ISP router. Same way, others home, they'll also have one IP address assigned, that is 193.195.3.255. 225, this is 226, this is. Okay, and they have some similar kind of, okay, what do you say, default gateway, that is same address. If this is the same, I have Nokia router at my home, Nokia Wi-Fi router. So this is also 192.168.1.254, and IP addresses based on like whichever how many devices are there, automatically they will assign. Same way with other guy also, they'll have this IP address is assigned by the IP. So it is instead of 256, it might be 250, 226, it might be 200 or something. Okay, so here also the default gateway might be the same. If it is a Nokia, if it is a linked, I mean like what is a Cisco, some other Wi-Fi router for him personal home router. So that time it might be 192.168.0.1, something like that. He configured it. Okay, but all the PCs will get some IP addresses. Okay, so that is how it works. Okay, so now let's get back to our main things. Okay, guys, any other doubts you have? Any other doubts you have here? Till we are just going very
No, Raghav.
basic level. Okay, Subrata,
No, Raghav.
No, no, sir.
Sunita.
My understanding is that first internet service provider will provide IP addresses to all routers. Then all routers will be having same default gateway.
Perfect.
Is
Correct. Correct. Understand. Correct. Perfect. 100%. Yeah. The service provider, that's the main thing you have to carry. Okay. So the ISP will provide you one IP address. If you have, this is one router one, means my home. Okay. R1. Okay. And there is one more person who is having his own router. Okay. That is here. That is router 2 at his home. Okay, this is R2. Okay, and the ISP is going to provide, that you correctly said, that some public IP address he will be providing, like 193 or something. These are called as public IPs. It's not 192 or 168, sorry, 192 or 10 dot, or it is not, it does not start with 192, or it does not start with 10 dot, or it does not start with 172. So those are all actually private IP addresses. Okay, so public IP address is required for anyone to communicate with the internet. So that's why for every router they will provide one public IP address. That public IP address is this one. Take this copy. Okay, I'll be putting it over here. Here my public IP address. Let me just wrap it. Okay, this is my public IP address. And my neighbor whoever is here, okay, he's also one same service provider example. Just take it. You might have got some 35 or something like that. Okay, so now these are the public IP addresses. Now I have default gateway. Just for our understanding, okay, Wi-Fi router, since it is, I'm just giving this analogy. Even if you have like take any router which is having multiple ports, where like you have a PC over here, sorry, if you have a PC over here, like this one PC, this one another PC, okay, this one is your mobile. Okay, example I'm just giving. All of them, either they directly connect using some router, using directly physically with a cable. If they connect using one cable, okay, or yeah, or every device in the home, example, every device in the home are actually connected using Wi-Fi. Anything you can take. This is one mobile, and this is a iPad, and this is something at his home, everything. Okay, in our home also, but I'm just giving in a simplified way. Okay, let me try to get Control Z. Okay, through Wi-Fi. Okay, through Wi-Fi. Okay, so let me write like this. Okay, so you have only one Wi-Fi receiver, right? Okay, only one Wi-Fi receiver, right? Do you have 10 receivers there in the router? No, only one receiver will be there. Okay, so either whichever we take, okay, either using connecting the network cables or Wi-Fi routers, okay, all different devices. Okay, if I take entire thing, okay, this one, once if it gets, okay, okay, this one once after it gets in, okay, Control Z. Let me, for a simplicity, I'll give you like this. Internally, once they get to the port, they will be merging, multiplexing, demultiplexing happens. That is here, and they are connected to the default gateway internally. That is 192.168.0 dot no dot 1 dot 1 dot 254.
1.22.
Okay, in my home router. Definitely the same thing. Instead of I'm mentioning here, I was mentioning here because it is a easy analogy to understand. Okay, either it can be applicable for Wi-Fi router or normal Ethernet cable connections. Okay, so now someone wants the new device here, nothing is there. Okay, so here nothing is there. Okay, there is no IP address. Now you are trying to first get the IP address. Before you browse, first you should have some IP address, because you have to go to the router, and then you have to go to the ISP. This is ISP. Okay, and then you have to go to the internet, the actual from here. Okay, before to that, this router has to attain. You don't know who you are, very blind. Okay, so what you will do first, you will follow the DHCP process. Okay, DHCP process means you will have some software application inside your system, it comes along with the operating system that is called as DHCP client. Okay, this client will be able to generate a packet in such a way that it can initiate a DHCP request. Okay, so this DHCP request, what it does is, okay, it will try to discover first. Okay, oh boss, I want who is my boss. Okay, someone provide me the IP address. Okay, I want to check with my default gateway. You are searching for your default gateway in DHCP discovery. So first, what you will do, you will send a DHCP client. Yeah, DHCP first discovery you do. Okay, that's what you are doing it, right? Where it went? Yeah, that's what you are doing. First, discovering your server, means router here. Okay, then what happens once after you what you
In
say?
your mission, that is what happening now, right?
Yes, it is happening now.
In your
That
system.
thing only.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay. So now you will send. Okay, in reverse I should put this because from here to here, right? Let me put like this. Okay. So what you have done, say for example, my router doesn't have any username or password or anything. Example, if it is there, 2 extra steps will come, but don't worry about it. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm sending the discovery. Please, boss, discovery message. DHCP will generate a DHCP application request that is called as discovery. Okay, any router, okay, will understand this discovery message. Any router, okay. So it will be sent to everyone. Okay, if I am connected Wi-Fi, okay, and 10 routers are there, Wi-Fi routers, everyone will actually able to. I will be able to, when I click on that, I will send a request. Okay, so through it will go. Okay, this discovery. When I click on that router, right? When I click on my Wi-Fi router settings, I'll select in my mobile, and if I click on that router, okay, I will be asking for discovery that time. Please, who is there in this big Wi-Fi? I have received some Wi-Fi list. Now I want to connect with you. Who is this? Okay, then that particular system, okay, in the network cable directly to the router only it will go. This one, okay. So it will receive that discovery request, which router, and it will respond. Hey, I am the router. If it is a network cable, say for example, through which you have connected, okay, then it will tell that, hey, I am your boss. Okay, I am the default gateway. Okay, you need not to worry about that. Okay, so this is the offer. This is I am ready to help you in. I am ready to help you in. Oh God, providing the IP address offer. I am ready to help you. Okay, so now this is the what client, correct, right? This is the client, DHCP client, I should say. What it is? DHCP client. DHCP client. Guys, these logs are important for us. If in case sometimes some network analysis we have to do, maybe in if in during your interview if they ask, at least
This DHCP client is automatically configured with OS, right?
yes, it is no need to install anything because network layer will have these applications by default for any Linux machine or Windows machine. Everything you should have it. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
it's automatically configured.
yeah, DHCP server means router.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Okay, this router. Okay, just let me put it like this. Okay, now you have sent a request and you have received a response for that request. What is? I am ready to help you out. Then, oh, thank you. So please assign a IP address to me. That is the request you will send. First, you are searching for not for IP address. What you are searching? You are searching for who is my boss. Okay. Now here you have come to know about your boss. Now you will ask him, okay, boss, could you provide me the IP address? Okay, that is the request DHCP. Okay, discovery is first happens, then request happens. First you have to find out your DHCP server, right? So that's why DHCP discovery happens. Okay, that is request, DHCP request. Like request means provide me the IP address. Okay. Then it will provide you some IP address to your client. That is, now it is provided me 192.168.1.2. That is what the IP address my server has actually provided to me. Okay. That is the IP address.
Here DHCP server means router.
DHCP server is router. That's it. Yes, that's it.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Anywhere it is router only. Most 99% of the time. Some people what they do is the router software they will install. Okay, some like some hackers and all. Okay, I'll tell what is the very. I'll explain what kind of attacks you will see. Okay, now itself. I don't want to delay that thing. It will be more interesting. Okay, as a story I'll explain it. Okay. So this is a acknowledgement that okay, see I am actually sending you now IP address for you. So it acknowledges with some IP address with IP. Okay. So now you have you have done some what do you say address assignment or something happened. Okay. Now let me take you guys to some different scenario. Okay. What if you are in a hotel, okay, or some you went to for a mall, or if you have gone to some, say for example, uh, some new place, coffee day or somewhere, they have given a free Wi-Fi router. Okay, example. Okay, free Wi-Fi, open Wi-Fi. You have observed open Wi-Fi. Okay, and you have actually requested. Okay, to get connected with that. Okay, then you will be assigned with an IP address. What is the main purpose of default gateway we have? Guys, why we have the default gateway?
To send traffic and receive traffic.
Correct, right? Through it only, right? Through
Through it
that
only.
default gateway. Correct, right? Okay. If in any mall also the same thing, right? Correct, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
same only.
Okay. Now what happens is 90% of the traffic what you see open Wi-Fi routers in the mall are very dangerous because those are not from the mall. The attackers who are sitting in the mall, they have enabled a free Wi-Fi router with the same forum mall Wi-Fi, something like that, and they're pretending to be giving free Wi-Fi. They're capturing all the data that is coming and going through your route, through your from your device to the internet. It has
Exactly.
to pass through them, right?
Yes, there is no security mechanism.
Yes. Okay. So they're reading through everything. If in that case, okay, if you are just went to the what do you say uh, forum and you are carrying a laptop, okay, and if you are opening the laptop and since you have got say for example you have to connect 10-15 minutes to the office, so you are actually sending all your office data while connecting and sending the data when by connecting to that Wi-Fi router, you are unsecure, right? Over there means like
Yes.
your data is
Yeah.
going through some unsecured data. That's why our office people they will ask us to connect through VPN. If you are
Yeah.
outside, please connect
Mhm.
to my network using only VPN. So VPN what it does, even if you are connecting through some free Wi-Fi or someone, okay, all the data that is going from your office, I mean like to the office or from your laptop, they all get encrypted automatically. Either you are sending the office data, you are launching the browser or anything, you are trying to access some web page, first every data will go to your office, okay, your VPN server, office VPN server. From there, the request will be resolved, okay, like Google or anything, and then bringing back again from the same path. First, that Google page comes back to your office, and from there, it will come to your laptop. Even though it is going through some attackers, what do you say, Wi-Fi router, he won't be able to understand it. Okay, so that's why if you are a company is very small company, and if they are not enabling if they are not enabling any Wi-Fi, I mean a VPN or anything for you guys on your laptops, then it is very dangerous. Imagine your personal things only. Okay, if that is the case, if you are entering the bank username and password, okay, hmm, then if you are clicking OK, if there is, say for example, I'm just telling, okay, what if he has configured here in router in such a way that if any, okay, Citibank request comes, okay, if any Citibank, so then he knows that Citibank which servers it will be, okay, if he comes to know that if I am getting any destination IP addresses are these, means Citibank routers, Citibank websites destination addresses, then immediately I'll send him the fake web page of the Citibank back to him. Okay, so it will be displaying as if like a Citibank only. Okay, because he's controlling all your traffic, correct, right? So you will enter the username and your password in a plain text, correct, right? Then you will click login. So that time the background, that web page will collect that particular information, send it to the attacker. He has written the code in the web page like that. Okay, then he has got your username and password. He might do anything with that. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that is what it happens. That is called as man in the middle of attack. You are trying to send to someone, but someone has actually taken that particular thing, modified the data. He has taken the header, okay, and changed. He responded, oh, I am only the web page, whatever you are asking. So whatever the web page you ask, even if you ask Google, he will respond with something back. That's why if you see something, um, like if you go to any bus stands or railway stations, first they will ask you whatever you like, just enter the username and
Ah,
password. They will display you some entering the login details, correct, right? Enter your
రాఘవ్ గారు,
phone. Yeah, go ahead.
ఇక్కడ ఇక్కడ ఫేక్ వెబ్ పేజ్ డిస్ప్లే అవుతుంది కదా.
Yes, yes.
ఆ ఫేక్ వెబ్ పేజ్ డిస్ప్లే అయినప్పుడు అది సెక్యూర్ కనెక్షన్ అయినా అది చెక్ చేసుకుంటే సరిపోతుంది కదా.
That
అది సెక్యూర్.
many of them they doesn't know, right, whether the web page whatever it displayed onto their phone, okay, whether it is a secured or unsecured. 90% people they don't see it. That is the problem.
నేనేమడుగుతున్నా,
You can see it. You can see it.
ఎస్
You
ఎస్
can
ఎస్
see it.
దట్
Okay.
వీ కెన్ అనలైజ్ దట్, రైట్?
Yes, because your web browser will know that whether it is the web browser. I'm not talking about your entire phone. Your browser
ఓకే
has got certificates in them, right? Okay, all
ఓకే
browsers will have what is Google certificate, what is uh, Amazon certificate, everything is there in them. Okay, so the certificate what it has brought might be something wrong, so it will show you like it might be malicious traffic,
హియర్ వాట్ ఐ
but
వాంట్ టు
that is
నో,
not. Mm,
here what I want to know, the fake
yeah.
web page doesn't have any security connection.
Yes,
That's
yes,
it.
yes. No, no,
Okay,
no,
okay,
no,
thanks.
no, no, no. Okay, so that kind of attacks you can do it using this DHCP. Okay, at the router, but you should be very careful. But the main uh, purpose of DHCP is provide IP address. But attackers, what they say in public places, hey, I am a guy who providing the internet. Anybody who wants, just connect me. Yes, they will connect. Okay, and immediately they will start doing the man in the middle attacks. Okay, we will see some of them later point of time, but not now. Okay, because we are just starting with this thing. So now you have got the IP address. Now you have got the IP address. Now you got the IP address. Now my IP address is something like this. Okay, we are coming back to the same thing now. 192.168.1.2 is my IP address. Okay, that is my PC IP address. Okay, now that's fantastic. I got my IP address. I don't have anything. Okay, so now I want to connect to where google.com, correct, right? So now when I try to say google.com, okay, in the background, okay, I don't know in the internet, over the internet, to communicate with www.google.com, like to reach google.com, this particular router doesn't understand this google.com, because this is where you are entering it in application, correct, right? That is your browser. Okay, but this is a network device. It can understand only IP addresses, port numbers, or the MAC addresses. All those things only it can understand. It doesn't understand what is your domain name requesting. Based on that, it is for our understanding. How to reach google.com will understand only IP address, but this is like for our understanding. Humans cannot store the IP addresses in their mind, right? So that's why domain names came. Okay, we can easily remember the google.com, and more even IP addresses will be keep getting changed. See now today, I'm the Google server is in US. Okay, so that's why they might be using assigned with some US based IP address. Okay, if it is, what if it is like moved to some Canada? Okay, Canada will have different kinds of IP address range. So every country will have some IP address range. So that's why we'll come to know from which country we got the traffic. We'll discuss about that thing also later during our actual log analysis. You will come to know about it. No need to worry about that. But so every country will have its own list of IP addresses range. Okay, so within that range only that IP address has to be there. But what I mean to say is, first of all, to reach any server, first of all, you need to have IP address of the destination. Google's destination address you should know, so that you can include that also in the network layer and you can send it. So how you are going to come to know about that? Okay, that is called as DNS. Now DHCP is for IP address. You got your IP address. Now, like to whom also you connect. You got three things. One is default gateway, your IP address, and as well as you got the subnet of everything you got. Now you have to connect to your google.com. So to that, this is your source. You need to have destination. Okay, so destination IP address you
Yes.
don't know. So for that, what you'll do the DNS query.
DNS.
Internally, as soon as when you enter www.google.com and click enter, before it generates any request, first it performs the DNS query. Okay, DNS query. Okay, let us see. I think it is there, or okay, DNS query. Okay. Oh, I don't want to show this because it will confuse you guys. Okay, let me close this up. Okay, and let me put it like this. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, now okay. Let me zoom it a bit. Yeah. Okay. Now we are discussing about this is the entire part is for DNS. Now we are going to discuss about the DNS. Okay. So DNS. Say, as I said, this is your PC. Okay. This is your PC. Now you entered the google.com. Okay. So internally, before any other further communication happens, okay, first it will send a DNS query request to your router. Boss, okay, I want, okay, to get this IP address first. I want get the IP address for google.com. That it will, to whom you can ask initially. To whom you can ask initially. Immediately, to whom you can ask, which router? First you will ask router. Router will say, hey boss, I don't have anything. Seriously. Okay. So that's why we have something called here. I will show. Oh, where it is? Yeah, this one. This one.
Another command prompt. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. See, I said, yeah, IP config. If you see here, okay, I should give minus all. Okay. Now, this is my DHCP, okay, DNS server. Okay. So what it is telling, if I get any request with respect to the DNS, to whom I should ask, it is telling? It is telling to connect to same default, correct, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I have asked it. Okay. Internally, it will take that. Okay. Internally, it will take that. Okay. And in the router, in the Nokia router, it is configured because this is a service provider has given, right? Okay. Internally, what it does is this is the request DNS request. Okay. For what? I want IP address of
Target
www.google.com.
destination address.
Yes, you have requested this to here. Spelling mistake is there, bear with it. Okay. And this is the router. Okay. And it reached now the default gateway as mentioned in it. Okay. Now, this internally, if it possible to hold all the DNS like worldwide, how many websites are there, those many things it will be
No, no,
holding it?
I don't have.
No,
No.
they don't have it. Correct, right? So that's why what they will do is internal as soon as it comes to know that, oh, this is a DNS request. DNS is an application. Remember this. Like DHCP, DNS is also an application inside your server. Inside in your PC, which is
Right.
provided by your operating, it comes along with the operating systems. Okay. Now, this with what it will do is I know whom to contact. That is my boss. Okay. If you ask my boss,
Yes.
who is my ISP? Okay.
ISP.
Yeah. ISP, I will go and check. Okay. ISP, I will go and check. Here, this is ISP. Means my Jio or my Airtel or my Act. Okay. Let me
Pathway.
show you this. Yes. Okay. Let me show you this. Okay. Let me show this. This is what? ISP, right? ISP. Okay. Now I have this ISP I have received. ISP, okay, what he is doing is he is creating a database. Okay. He's created one database. Okay. Okay. Where all the DNS records are there. Okay. What is this database will have is www. Okay. So example, not google.com. Say I'm just giving on the fly some IP addresses. Don't take them very seriously. Like 63.52.192. Okay.
Flipkart.
Flipkart. All Flipkart.com. Only the host names. Okay. The main pages,
Yes.
main domains only they will keep. Not any subdomains are 72.30.153. Okay. And Amazon. Okay. .com. Okay. Their domain names with some sort of like 55.82.123.134, something like this. It has kept. What it is the database like domain to IP address mapping. Okay. Domain to IP address mapping. Okay. So it will be holding this data. So as soon as I connect for any DNS request, it will refer me to a DNS server. Control Z. Okay. This is the what? This is what? DNS server. Okay. Like you have DHCP to provide the IP address, same way ISP holding some DNS to the IP address. Okay. Something. Okay. So if there is a website, okay, google.com, if there is any like geographically today from say for example in California they have shifted this server to say for example Canada. Okay. Say from US to Canada or California itself in US to some other Boston or somewhere. Okay. The IP address automatically gets changed as the geolocation change. Okay. So whatever the new IP addresses, these servers will be automatically getting updated because Okay, they are getting from these latest IP addresses from the root server in the internet. Somewhere it will be, somewhere in US or somewhere. What is some this similar kind of DNS servers will be there. Okay, yeah, every service provider will be getting the latest of the. See, today I have bought my eLearn InfoSec website. Example I'm giving. Okay, so root server where it will be actually coming to know that okay, new domain is actually purchased by someone from godaddy.com and they have created the website and it is up and running, and now uh, they are storing a web page over there in some location in GoDaddy or somewhere, and their eLearn InfoSec will be entry along with this new entry will be added by immediately within the time when the page gets like I create my website, right? Like whatever the eLearn InfoSec, within that 15 minutes it will get updated over here. Okay, in this is called as okay Zone server. Okay, where it is. Yeah, this is the main server. Okay, main DNS server. Global, or you can say it as zone, like entire world related domains. How many are them? That one copy will be always getting updated over here from the internet. It will be coming. Any doubt here? You tell me that first of all.
No,
No.
sir. No.
No, right?
Hmm.
100%.
Yeah.
Huh? 100%, right?
Yeah.
Huh? Okay. Let me. Okay, where it is? Yeah. Let me. Okay. So this is a copy will be getting updated. So I have entered the eLearn InfoSec website. Okay. That yesterday, I mean, like 20 minutes before it happened, this server timely it is getting updated, right? If it is not available here, if in case whatever my website only I have implemented deployed in somewhere in my GoDaddy or somewhere, then immediately I will try to see whether the page is there or not. Then first it will come here, checks the DNS and comes to know that if it is not here, okay, I just created it now, the website, and I hosted it in some web server. But whether it is through internet, it is accessible or not, I don't know. So that's why I'm accessing here. I will check here. It will come to know that it is not there. Then what it will do is it will immediately forwards the same DNS request to global zone server also. It will send that request. Okay, is asking for eLearn InfoSec website. If it is not there, then it will throw me some error. The website what you are searching is not found. Okay, if it is there here, then it will get the response here. It will update that IP address and the uh, what you said domain name and sends that
Domain.
response back to me. Okay, that how it sends, it will be respond. Okay, let me for your understanding, I'll be removing this and I'll put eLearn InfoSec instead of yeah.
Here,
Mm, yeah.
whenever new website is created, whenever a new website is created, that will be available in global zone initially.
Yes. Initially,
Yes,
timely every 1 hour.
until and unless we will browse the same
No.
website
Not,
through our browser.
not,
Oh,
no, not because of that. Every 1 hour or sometime, the DNS server will be getting the latest of the zone, okay, and updating.
okay.
In between
That is the
itself,
frequency.
before this,
1 hour is the
yeah,
frequency, right?
yes. But if in case before
Okay.
that update happens, if you go and ask eLearn InfoSec to be provided by this DNS server, that time, if
Uh,
it is since it is not there, immediately it will ask. Okay, it doesn't wait for
yeah,
this to
that is what
get
I'm asking.
updated.
That is what I'm
Yes,
asking. Okay,
immediately it will
fine,
send
fine.
that request to the zone. Oh, boss, you go and
Oh,
connect to the global DNS server. So it will. So now the response, it is come here. Okay, this request, whatever I said, okay, it will come here, this request, okay, for google.com, elearninfosec.com, and I have found that there is nothing, okay, it is not there. Just I'm giving in the flow. I'll just paste this, okay, the same thing. Whatever we discussed, that only I'm putting, I'm not putting anything extra. Control C, Control V. I'll just send this request to this DNS server. Okay. And if it is not there, then what I'll do, I'll be sending this request to this
Global.
machine, global. Okay. It is somewhere, it is here. Okay, where it went? It went here. Okay. Now, sorry. So now till here it is clear. Subrato, is it clear for you?
Yes, sir. So this is the like procedure for every newly website
Yeah, I'll
created.
explain. I'll
Yeah.
explain. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Now it has come to know and it will respond. Okay, that is true. Whatever you're saying for the very new thing.
If we request the same website in second time, you will
Yeah,
get the same thing from our router cache only, right?
I'll explain. I'll explain. That is what main part. Apart from that, before one more step happens in your machine. So I'll explain that. Okay. So this is the
Sorry
response.
to
Okay.
asking. I'm asking so many questions.
Yeah. Correct. Just a little advanced that is. I'll explain that now itself. Okay. So now what it will send is this will send for this request. Okay. What is the response? Okay. This is this request. Say for example, I'm just putting it here and I will say that boss for this request. Okay. This is the response that is 192. So not 192. 114 something. Okay. 32.5.5.67 or something. Okay. So now this is the IP address I've come to know from the response. And I'll give the same whatever the response I've got from here. Okay. Copy it and give it the same response from the ISP. Okay. To the I'll be giving it to DNS, and DNS will give this response back to whom? To the through ISP to whom it will give? To the router. Correct, right? So to the router there is the response. I like arrows I cannot put over here, so that's the reason I am just simplifying it. And the response, DNS response. Okay, this is the response. Okay, so I can say this as DNS response. Okay. Now it won't store anything. That's what Nagendra. Just remember this. What happens is it is helping us out. That's it. So now what we'll do is we will give it to whom it is asked. It is asked by our PC, right? So PC I will give. Okay. So PC after giving it to it, okay, this particular part, okay, I will be giving it to DNS response to this. Okay, internally in our PC, there is something called as, okay, there is something called as DNS cache. Okay, some table is there, like not big, whichever it is required for us to store it. It will be storing all the browser requested, okay, all the browser requested DNS related data will be here. Okay. Huh? So next time it doesn't require for it to go and access it. If it gets failed, then new request will be, new IP address will be, anyhow it will be replaced if it gets failed. Okay. Because it will go for a new IP address request and then it will new DNS request and then it will update again in this thing. That is called as DNS cache. DNS cache. Okay. Cache. Okay. cache. Okay, this is a table. Okay, in the memory it is. Okay, in operating system it is available. Okay, so these will have all frequently used, whatever we have used, right? As soon as once we get a response, we will be updating it here. So second time when we need to access google.com, okay, so it will just look into this, and it doesn't require for to go to the DNS server of ISP or Globe server. Just I can create it from here itself. So that is how the next time onwards you doesn't see DNS logs getting generated from your machine. Okay, if it is any again new website, then it will generate. Or if it is in case if this IP address is not resolved by your router or ISP someone, then it will perform the DNS query. Okay, so just remember that. Is that clear or not? First of all, you tell me.
Yes, sir.
Sure, 100%, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's clear.
Nagendra? Yeah. Okay.
How long
So
the data is cleared? How long the data to be stored in cache, local cache?
it will be there as long as you want. Okay, because the only time they gets updated the same way is if the DNS, what do you say, if there is any change in the IP address, right? Okay, so that time you will not come to know. So you will try to send with the same IP, with the same IP. Then that IP will not get resolved. So that response you will get it. So immediately again what you will do, you will try to resolve that again the domain name. Then after that you will go and get the new DHCP, DNS request and update it here. That's it. Okay. We'll see that. Okay. But now
Yes.
whether is this clear for you or not? Okay.
Clear,
So
100% clear.
yeah. One more thing I would like to say. See here, many of the settings. Okay, if you go here, where it is, yeah. Okay, here. Okay, it is here, right? 192.1. Similar way, if you want, okay, if you want, you yourself want to create some different DNS, not ISP DNS you want, okay. Some operators, some local internet service providers, their DNS won't be that much good. They might be keeping DNS server updates for every maybe 1 day or 2 days like that. So that is not useful. So if that is the case, okay. So sometimes what happens is, let me open, okay. This particular DNS you can update like 8.8.8.8. This is Google DNS server. So you have some other private DNS service providers that also you can easily configure. It doesn't require for you to use only service providers. IP addresses and all he will provide us, but DNS query and all I'll take the help of Google or Cloudflare. Also you have okay, see Google, because if anything it is not in your cache means it will go and ask the Google DNS server. That is 8.8.8 website somewhere server it is there. Google DNS server. See, this is the IP address. Okay. Or you can use this also alternatively 8.8.4.4. Okay. You have something also like Cloudflare DNS servers. You can use this also if you want private DNS servers. It is free only, like 1.1.1.1 or 1.0.0.0.1. Okay, you can use these two IP address. Means why you have two means if one gets failed, another one is there to help you out. Okay, this is like 8.8.4.4, or you can use 1.1. Good, that one. I don't want to put it. Sorry for that. Okay. Is it clear for you guys now? Guys?
Yep.
Okay. So this is the important some concepts which I thought of explain you guys today. Okay. So you got what did you say? DHCP and DNS. You got the
Yes.
clarity, right? How they work. Okay.
Yeah.
No need to worry, right? Okay. So Telnet and SSH. What is the different? I said We'll see it practically, but what is the difference you have seen? Telnet to connect any remote system, it doesn't use any kind of encryption or anything. Security is not there. Everything is plain text. If the others comes to know about this connection, man in the middle of attacks, if you are trying to, like as I said, if you are going to some public Wi-Fi, if they are capturing all the data going through, and if you are connecting to your office server using Telnet, he is able to see how you are going to, what is the user server host name, and what is your username, and what is your password. Everything you can see clearly. So that's why you have SSH. SSH is like secured socket host connection, I guess. Okay. So it will provide a tunnel in a way that every data that is going through is encrypted and sent. Okay. And FTP is file transfer protocol. Okay, that is port 20 and port 21 you can use. Port 20 is for data, that is for transferring the data uh, like like a file to other system. You use port 20, but to communicate with the same application on other server or some other system, okay, to establish the connection, okay, okay, or to check the connection, what is the current connection state in between, okay, you use port 21. That is for control, like connection, disconnection, okay, or changing the connections, okay, all those things called as control. So for that you use port 21, okay. So FTP is, what is the port number? Data or control, you should ask. Data means
Control.
20, control means
20.
21.
Control
Yeah,
21.
21. Okay. Telnet is 23,
23.
SSH is 22. Okay.
22.
And SMTP is
20p is in 25.
25. Okay. All your mail related things and all will go through 25. Let us see. Okay. So there is something called as, oh, Nagendra, just get into this mute. Okay. Thank you. So ARP is there now. Okay. What is ARP? Okay. What is ARP? ARP is address resolution protocol. Okay. ARP is address resolution protocol. Okay. So this is the address. Okay. You know that as soon as when you are, you know that all my, what do you say? Mm, you have, what do you say? How I can say? As soon as when I launch my PC, I know like I'll be having some sort of like I know my IP address. Okay, example. So I can directly know the, using the Mac I can connect to the other system. That's what we have discussed earlier. Correct, right? Okay. Now you know the IP address. Okay, means like when you power off the system and when you power on the system, you know your default gateway. Correct, right? What is your default gateway? It is there in the software, but I might have changed the router, okay, or I might have uh, changed some settings or something, okay, something on the router or something, okay, or I have changed the router. I know to which router I have to connect, okay. So, but router has changed, okay, or I just blindly I have powered on my device, okay, hardware. I don't know where that router is. So what I'll do is I have to send the, if you see here, I have to send a request to get the hardware information. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll be broadcasting like, boss, tell me who is the 192.168.1.1 or 192.168.1.254. I'll be just, my device will be throwing it. Who is that? Because in my default gateway, okay, where it went, okay, where it went. In my default gateway, okay, someone has configured the default gateway as 192.168.1.254. I want to know his MAC address. I want to know because from now on I would like to communicate, right? So someone has actually previously given me 192.168.1.4. Every time when I power on the device, ARP request I will be asking. So please provide me their MAC address. I'm requesting. Okay, so it will be a ARP request. Your source address will be 192.168.1.1.2. Okay, just want to show you here. Okay, source IP address is this. Okay, and the source MAC address. You know your MAC address. Okay, that's not a problem. But to reach the next hop, what it is required? You require what?
Default gateway.
Default. No, you require the MAC of the default gateway. Okay, so
Okay.
you don't know the MAC address. Okay, so you'll be putting 0000000 everything. Okay, so then what it will do? Okay, I don't know the MAC address seriously. Okay, so I'll be putting everything as 0 and send it to the ARP request. ARP is again, like you consider it as a application related protocol. Okay, so it helps us to reach a system and get if that ARP is like if he's telling I am the boss, then it will provide you the MAC address. As I said, DHCP, after it comes to know, DHCP will give you the default gateway, okay, and the IP address, everything. But to know the MAC address, you have to send an ARP request. To know the MAC address, you have to send the ARP request. So what you are doing, the target machine's MAC address you don't know. That is the router's MAC machine, address you don't know. So you'll be putting everything 0, okay, and you know the when earlier sometime before you have received this IP address that this is the default gateway, then after that you powered off, then again you powered on the machine. Now you are requesting the server, okay, for the providing some MAC address of the target, means this default gateway MAC you don't know. So then it receives this and comes to know that this guy belongs to me only, my network only, because I have already gave him 110.12.2.73. Same way, like 192.168.1.2, I have only given it to him. Okay, he belongs to me in my network. I will store his MAC address and it will keep the MAC address. And if it is some IP address, whatever it is there, that also I'll keep. But what the main request? I want to resolve, okay, I'm requesting the target MAC address. So it will put the target MAC address and response back to that whoever actually asked. So you see when request target MAC as 000, when responding, okay, this one target MAC is updated with some where it is this one, okay, from where it is actually received source from this machine, right? So it will take this one and updates that in that particular MAC address, okay, of destinations for everything. So that is how it will come to know that, oh, for to send the next hop I have to use this MAC address because this is for source for this one, right? So that's why it has put that address here. Okay, so you tell me ARP is used for what purpose? In single line you tell me, to get to know about the MAC address of the gateway, default gateway. Got it?
Yep.
Yes.
Sunita?
Got it, sir.
Sunita? Okay, I think she'll be in another call for now. Okay, let's see later. Okay, but for now you just remember this. ARP is a protocol which is used for, the default gateway IP address. That's absolutely no issues. Say for example you powered off and then you are powered on. Okay, then what you are trying to do? You are trying to get the IP address, but you don't know the MAC address. Okay, when you are connecting through the cable, right? Definitely through cable it will go to that only. But the problem is, okay, you need to have the MAC address for further communication. Okay, what if it is a Wi-Fi router? So does it know 10 routers are there? All of them are 192.168, but someone has to approve you whether they have assigned the same IP address to you or not. Okay, whether they are already having, they will check 110.12.73 is the IP address which I have only given, and I already know that his MAC address. Okay, I know him, so I can trust him. Now I can send him the MAC address. So this one in the source MAC, I'll put the server's MAC address. I mean, like router's MAC address means default gateway's MAC address. Source IP will be default gateway's IP, and destination MAC means to whom it is going. It is for the person who is actually requested for this request. Okay, and target IP will be the IP address of the client. Okay, those things they'll put, and I'll send. Once I get, for every other further communications, I'll use that MAC for reaching the next hop. When I enter the google.com web page or anything, for every internet connection or within the network itself, to reach this machine to someone which is connected to him directly or somewhere in their net, first I have to reach here. Means for that, what I should have? MAC address. How you come to know? ARP. How you got to know about your IP address? Using the DHCP. Okay, that is how it is. Now, is it okay?
Yes.
Right? Clear, right?
Yeah.
Why we
Yeah.
use DHCP?
ACP to get dynamic address.
To
Yes.
get the
Why
dynamic
you use why we use DNS?
DNS to resolve the IP address of domain.
Domain name, to resolve a domain name to IP address. Okay. Why you use ARP?
to
ARP
get the
to get the default
Target
gateway MAC
MAC
address.
address.
MAC
Yes,
address
Target
for
MAC
default gateway.
yeah. Default gateway only you have to say. That is correct. Okay. So that is how you have to get understanding. Okay. That's all for
We have
today.
to we have to answer default to get default gateway MAC address or target MAC address. We have to answer
Default
what
gateway. Default
default
gateway.
gateway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Target also you can say, because it is not meant for only default gateway. If I don't know what is the other system which is connected to me,
Yeah.
I
Yes,
know
yes.
IP
That's why we
address, you
need
can
to
say,
tell
yeah,
target.
you can say, but as the real world, it will be normally like default gateway, but it is for anything. Okay. Any system, you know that
Actually,
IP address, you
actually,
don't
this
know
is
the MAC
available
address.
in layer 2, right?
Yeah. I'll tell when we will be going to use
Okay.
that. Okay. Simple way I can make you
Okay.
understand.
Okay.
Now what I'll do is, okay, let me run. Okay. Now I'll open the same command. Okay. Where it went, man? Where it went? It didn't come only. Somewhere is it here?
Which one you are looking?
That control panel, it is not coming. Okay. That network control panel. Okay, let it be. I don't mind. Okay. I'll go here. Properties. This one has got it. Okay. I thought it is already open, right? So when it is important for us, okay, usually ARP is useful in these conditions. I will say 192.168. I am myself configuring. Okay. 1.2 as my IP address. Example. Okay. And I know my subnet mask 255.250. Okay. And I know 192, my router's IP address is 192 dot default gateway 1.254. Now I know my IP address. Okay. Got it right? Guys,
Yes.
I know my IP address, or I can use any available IP address. Means I myself configuring the IP address. That time I want to connect to my default gateway. So this, when I click OK, right? Okay, the process is actually not a DHCP. It is like static IP address I'm giving. I'm not dynamically getting the IP address. Correct, right?
Exactly.
So
Correct.
during that time, you should know the MAC address, because Server is not, you don't know what is the MAC address of the router. Correct, right? Correct,
Yes,
right?
yes.
MAC address of the.
Yeah.
So during that time, ARP plays an important role. Got it? In which times it is important. Sometimes you require for you to give your own static IP addresses. I don't want like within 10, like 192.168.1.10 or 20, something very easy way of MAC IP address. I don't want to make. My PC IP address should not be changed. During that time, what you'll do, you will create a static IP address. Correct, right? Static IP addresses just go here instead of automatic DHCP, whatever the IP address within like 192.168.1.22, whatever the
Uh,
default gateway
you
says, right?
mean you mean if we go with static IP address, then
Yeah.
MAC address doesn't require to communicate. Right?
No, 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 no. What I mean to
Uh,
say, during the DHCP, you have come to know about the MAC address because when you sent a
yes, yes,
DHCP
yes,
request,
yes,
the server automatically sent along with came along with the DHCP. Their MAC address, it is there in their source MAC address, right? You already come to know about it, correct, right? But this is a fresh brand PC. Okay, I don't want to. I know my router's IP address, the default gateway, that is 192.1. This is a fresh PC. 192.168 dot 1 dot uh, okay, 254. Is this my default gateway or not? I know it or not. I know.
yes,
Okay.
yes, we know.
Yeah, I know. Because I have one more device from there. Somehow I got to know, or I called up my operator, I mean, like ISP, and he told me, like, use this default gateway and use 255. Okay, this one it will come. I want to put a static because I want to have this as a server, static web server. I want to connect with some other applications. I had some requirement. This is for with the new PC. What I'll do 192.168.1.100 a new IP address. I want this IP address. Okay. Now what I'll do, I will click OK. Okay. I'll click OK. This will go there. Okay, this request, when I click OK, this request will go there. And if I want, I can provide my service providers provided 192.168.1.4, or I can give DNS whichever I want. Okay, so now if I click OK, first the request, whatever it goes. Okay, first of all, boss, who is 192.168.1.254? I'll be shouting like that. That is called as ARP. Okay, because I don't know the MAC address. Correct, right? Okay, so
Yes, yes.
once if you go to the router, what they will do is, sorry, if you go to any hotel, what they will give you is, they will give you the username and password and default gateway, everything they will give you. Correct, right? In hotels, usually some hotels.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
There also this kind of attacks, ARP spoofing. In the sense they will say that I am 192.168.254. Okay. Then you will assigned with like IP, you will automatically connect to that guy and all your data will be sent to him. That is called as ARP spoofing. You will see it later. But remember, now what you will do is he will send you the default gateway of his laptop or his something wherever like server or something. Then that MAC address you will use it because the response what you get is the ARP, what is the MAC address of the other system. Okay, so for every request you will be sending all the data to that particular MAC. He might be sending forwarding by capturing that and forwarding to the internet, or he might be modifying it and sending back to you, or something he'll be doing. Now you have to know that the default gateway is having the address with you, but you want to know the MAC address. So you will be just blindly asking, please provide me the this thing. Since if you are connected to the cable, okay, so that doesn't mean that that is only the default gateway. It can be some switch, okay, and switch will give you the what do you say, till which layer it works. It works till data link layer, correct, right? So that time it might be only mapping. It might be as it has to ask his boss to store this data. So it might be asking its router. Okay, so all these things might happen internally. But one thing you have to remember, for default static related IP addresses, you will be sometimes seeing this ARP requests. Okay, and one more thing is sometimes you turn off your device, and if you turn on, that time also you will get the ARP requests. Okay, boss, I want to know who is the MAC address for this particular. What is the MAC address for this? ARP means address resolution protocol. I have an address. Please resolute it and give me the MAC address of the other system. That's it. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Fine then. Let me stop this. Now you guys are clear with everything till now, right?
Yes, sir.
No
Yes,
issues.
sir.
Hmm?
No issues.
So that's fantastic. Let me check anything. Okay, now I am okay. Fine then. Let me stop it.